Welcome, my friend, to the start of your journey.
The inspiration for the Great Orator originated from a fascination for TV psychics that I fostered since early childhood. I can still remember one case where my mom, who was really into this stuff, took me to a magnetist, somebody who can heal you with her hands. And it wasn't in some fantastical place, but just in the attic of a house in a suburb. Complete disconnect from what I as a young child would associate with somebody who could do magic or perform miracles. In the early 90s there was also this famous Dutch TV medium, and she managed to, for some reason, whip the whole of Netherlands into a frenzy, where everybody would put, millions of people would put a bottle of water in front of the television screen, and she would send her energy through the television screen and into the bottle of water. Normally there's this point where a TV medium or a TV psychic, there's a scandal of some sorts, either it's a tax evasion thing, a sex thing, or but most of the times it's when not only the followers start to believe in the guru, but also the guru starts to believe in themselves. That's the point when it becomes very dangerous. If a scandal wouldn't bring down a TV medium, what if a person like that could grow and expand her power? And that resulted in the project The Great Orator, which shows the end point of somebody who could expand her power indefinitely, until they reached a spiritual singularity of some sorts.
Before my transcendence, I welcomed people such as yourself in this house, who sought spiritual guidance to find meaning in an infinite amount of possibilities.
The Great Orator is a logical progression of my previous VR diorama work that I'm working on since 2012, called the Shoebox Diorama. And works similarly to dioramas in a museum, where if you have a diorama of a dinosaur drowning in a tar pit, you know that a month from now that dinosaur is still drowning in the exact same moment. So I like to create these perpetual environments around such an emotional moment. And to convey that emotion, I like to use one singular form of interaction. And from that singular form of interaction, I like to create the story in the world. And I don't like to tell you a story. I like you to visit this world, and then the environments will tell the story. So I don't like to talk about a player or a viewer, but I like to talk about visitors visiting my work.
An ashtray seems to resonate with you deeply. Let us begin.
I use AI not necessarily to replace human artists, but to do something I couldn't otherwise do. Together with poet Thomas Mulman, we used his work to create an infinite amount of variations of his poems that he would create. So instead of creating this narrative construct of an AI, it's actually a working AI. And instead of exploring the construct of infinity, it's actually a place with an infinite amount of stories.
It's better now that we are all together, my followers and I. We form a collective that breathes as one body.
As inspiration for the architectural style that I use in the Great Orator, I looked at postmodern buildings, mostly in the city of The Hague. My daily commute to my studio, I pass by a couple of gems. And the beauty of this postmodern style is that they adopt lots of different cultures and elements from over centuries. And the Dutch medium that I mentioned before, she also adopts lots of religions, cultures, but also graphic design from all over the place. In the Great Orator, I also make heavy use of stock videos. These stock videos are in the same way void of meaning and emotion and identity. This brings us to the concept of liminal spaces, which are mostly spaces without identity. They are not meant for you to stay longer or for longer extended periods of time. They're meant for you to pass through from one state to another state, a waiting room, an airport, hotel lobby. And in the same way, stock videos are also liminal in a way, and the postmodern architecture is as well. So I envisioned myself, what would an end state look like if TV Preacher could grow ceaselessly and reach this spiritual singularity. And I also had to think about how, what scenario should, happen in order for her to reach that state. So I came up with the idea of having her be uploaded into an AI, and ultimately all her followers, like basically everybody in her world, joined her in that shared consciousness. And her identity is never the same, it always changes. So if you would interact with an object in that world, like it will not be the same if you would interact with that object again. The story will change. So her identity is never fixed. She doesn't really know who she is, or if she ever existed at all. And she needs you to give meaning to her existence, because without you, there's nobody to perceive infinity, like fix her identity in place. So when you leave the experience, she stops to exist. And next time you will visit, she will change again. So the Great Orator is ever changing.